Good morning. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Let's go to a word of the day. A word of the day is an anamnesis. Anamnesis, the remembering of things from a supposed experience, often used in reference to Platonic philosophy, or a medicine, a patient's account of a medical history. Yolanda didn't believe in anamnesis, so the mysterious memories must have been from her childhood. There you go, our word of the day. Okay, let's go to our heat map. Our heat map, let's take a refresh of our heat map. A little more things are green today. Financials are green. Tesla is up slightly. Home improvement is green. Apparel is green. Footwear. Industrials, real estate, energy, consumer defense. Healthcare bounces back. Energy is kind of a mixed bag. A few things are up. And our technology, Microsoft is down, NVIDIA is down, Oracle, Adobe, all the things that were up yesterday seem to be down today at the moment. It's not how we open, it's how we close. So that is how things look right there. We always share. If you've worked your entire lifetime, you built up your retirement and now you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to lose it like what happened in 2008. It turned 401k into a 201k. Well, you can roll over your money. You can get a 25 to 45% bonus and still participate in the market, but not lose when it goes down, gain when it goes up and up. It beats index investing by about 5% per year. If you want to learn more about this great plan, feel free to reach out to me on the comment section. Let's go to our screens. Western Digital, along with NVIDIA, looks to be an ascending base. Broke out of this base, created another base. As you can see, it's an ascending base, one of the more powerful base structures in investing. So let us go to the dollar, see what is happening with the dollar today. Dollar is pulling back off 0.42%. Now, silver was up yesterday when the dollar was interesting. Silver was up when the dollar was down, and the dollar's down and silver is retracing. So that's pretty interesting. It's not what I would expect, but it's pulling back to the 10-day moving average, down nearly 2%. Gold, which was moving in relation to the dollar, is up a little bit today, up 0.42%. Let's take a look at copper. As I said, copper is used in the production of AI type of moves, products in data centers, and a big gap down, 2 gap downs in a row. So that's not going to be too good for our mining companies, which is actually up today. So surprise, surprise. Take a look at a couple of other leaders. We got Southern Copper. It's trying to stay around its 20-day moving average. And FCX is up slightly. So with the dollar down, I would think that Ethereum and Bitcoin are bouncing back today. Ethereum is up slightly, 0.72%. look at this ETF and Bitcoin. It is up a little over 2% today. So that is the story there. I'm just going to go over to what's in the news today. The Japanese yen rebounds after falling through a level that prompted the latest round of suspected intervention by authorities. Swiss franc is the strongest in the G10 FX, rising 0.7% against the greenback. The bull-bear spread in the American Association of Individual Investors, AAII, weekly survey was 12.3 versus 20.7 last year. Bulls fall to 39% from 47%. Neutrals rise to 34.2 from 26.6. And bearish investors rise to 26.7 from 26.3. And let's look at companies that are in the news. American Eagle Outfitters, AEO, quarter one EPS 34 cents versus estimate 28 cents. So they beat, and they're falling. Big gap down, and they're trying to fight back. They're down about 6% in the moment. BIRK stock getting close to what we call a breakout. Quarter two revenue of 481.2 million revenues, tops expectations of 466.1. A big gap up. Previous earnings, they missed. It fell right over here. And let's see, their other earnings, big sell-off here. And their other earnings right here, big sell-off. So they're up 2%, big surprise. 42% surprise almost. So all the shoe companies seem to be doing well. The Swiss company On is really surging. Just take a quick look at it. Earnings came in at 123% above. Big surprise, broke out and just trended up. So back to our news, onto Capri Holdings. In fashion, quarter four adjusted EPS 42 cents versus 65 cents. People aren't going to like that. And look at Capri. It has been falling, and falling. Down another 1.11% today. Hormel Foods. Quarter two EPS 34 cents versus estimate 36. They missed their estimates and they have fallen like a knife, down nearly 9%. Red Robin Gourmet. Quarter one adjusted EBITDA 12.2 million versus estimate of 16.97. And you would think they would be falling, and they are not. Earnings are down 420%, and still they're gapping up. That is amazing. They guide quarter two comps up 0.3%. So maybe that is why they're rising. Simpress, authorized share buyback up to 200 million shares. And they're up on that news today, up 4%. Energy, industrials, and materials. U.S. crude and oil gasoline inventories dropped last week. Well, distillates rose. See how that affected the oil prices. They're down on that news. Boeing, outgoing CEO Dave Calhoun and other senior company officials will detail the plane makers' quality training and other improvements during meetings with the U.S. aviation authorities on Thursday. Boeing is up slightly. Generac downgraded to sell from neutral at Guggenheim with $120 price target. Wow, that's just, and they're bouncing off of their 20-day on that news. This is the power generator company. So when your power goes out, you have a backup generator. These guys did a lot of work, a lot of sales with the LA fires a couple of years ago. Hess Midstream LP announced an underwritten public offering of aggregate of 10 million Class A shares. People don't like to be diluted. That's why the shares are dropping about 4% today. Let's move on to financials. FactSet. FDS. FactSet. Downgraded to underperform from neutral at Bank of America and cut the target to 407, where it fell mysteriously just to that number. Royal Bank of Canada beat analyst estimates and strong performance from the company's capital to markets business and lower than expected provisions for potential loan losses. And they're going to repurchase up to 30 million of its common shares. And on all this news, it moves up a little over 5% today. It's breaking out. Already had exhibited pattern that things were moving in the right direction. So that is that story. UBS said it would reshuffle the executive board, splitting leadership of its key wealth management division into two, bidding farewell to Ulrich Körner, the head of Credit Suisse, before the UBS takeover. He's going to step down at the end of June onto healthcare. Agilent, quarter two adjusted EPS $1.22 versus $1.19. Did not meet what people were expecting, and it's negative 4%, big gap down in over 8%. Maris, 7.55 million spot secondary price at $53. And surprising, you would think that this would fall on that news, but it actually rises. $53 is definitely below where it's trading at now. So it's up 6% today. Salesforce gets crushed after hours last night. Shares slide in results. Quarter one adjusted EPS 244 versus estimate 238. Down 21%. Being in software, they have high multiples, so that is why it's getting crushed. Earnings up 44%, which was a 70% earnings surprise. Still not good enough. AI, C3.ai, EPS loss of 11 cents versus estimate of 30 cents. And these guys are moving up 15%. Yeah, they're 64% earnings surprise. Their stock is up 17%. Credo Technology, quarter four EPS 7 cents versus 5 cents. Revenues rose 89.4% year over year. And look at their stock take off like a rocket. Earnings up 275%. Stock is up 20%. Guess you'd want to be in C3 or Credo instead of Salesforce right now. HP Incorporated, quarter two EPS 82 cents. Look at that baby take off. Up 4% on earnings and 18% on the stock price. Encino, yeah, you could tell that some good news was approaching. Encino, quarter one EPS 19 cents versus estimate 13 cents. Initially sold off, and now it is coming right back. Earnings up 171%. It's pretty flat for the day. I guess the valuation was a little high, and people are expecting a lot more if it wanted to go up any more than that. Nutanix, quarter EPS 28 cents versus estimate 17 cents. I believe this is a San Jose based company. platform that converges server virtualization, and a big gap down 21%. Kind of got beaten up last night. It was an earnings surprise of 520%. And the earnings are up 189%, and still it is down big time. So you know that the valuation was above where it is currently trading at. Okta goes down big time, down about 6%. Earnings were up 195%. People seem to be, there was a 270% surprise. People seem to be moving out of software. Crowd signed an agreement with another company, and their stock is down big time, down 8% today. Our $320 option doesn't look so good right now, but that is the story. Their earnings are in 5 days. Pure Storage, I think they were one of the few in the earnings that kind of knocked it out of the park. 32 cents versus 21-cent estimate. Earnings are up 300%, and their stock is up a little over 2% today. UI Path, one of Kathy Wood's favorites, gets slaughtered in after hours. Looks like things are slowing down on the internet here. Let's see what UI Path, the big gap down 33%. Yeah, that's a big tumble. And then finally, we'll look at Google. Google will invest $2 billion to establish its first data center in Malaysia to power new cloud services, the latest in a string of multi-billion-dollar plans by Western tech giants to meet the growing demand. And it is pulling back to the 20-day moving average. I think this is more on more troubles with this AI. That was in the news yesterday late, so that is the story there. So that is all of our news. Now let's go to see what is moving up 10% on 200% increase in volume. I bet some of the things in the news, we looked at Credo already. So US Cellular provides digital analog wireless services to 4.6 million customers. It is bouncing. It pulled back to its 10-day moving average yesterday. Gets right back into the buy area. We have talked a lot about Nicholas Darvis's box. Stock will oscillate in this box, and then when it breaks out of that box area, it would be a buy. So that looks good there. And I believe this is Best Buy. Best Buy, big gap up on earnings. Earnings up 4%. Stock is up a little over 12%. We looked at AI in the news. Burlington stores, big gap up over 18%. Look at the earnings, up 61%. This was a surprise of almost 29%. Foot Locker. Shoes are flying off the shelf, apparently. Foot Locker is up 20%. I guess they're working on what we call a bottoming base. It's gapped above its 200-day moving average. All of its moving averages it has said goodbye to. One kind of risk is it's pretty far extended now above its moving averages. Will it come back a little bit? that is a question. We looked at Birkenstock and we looked at I'm not sure if this is HP. So this is AMSC, American Superconductor, Programmable Power Electric Converters. Was in the buy area right here, was kind of bouncing around here, and it gapped up into the sell area today, up 15%. We recommend when something breaks out, anytime it goes up 20%, you take partial profits, at least a quarter or a third, and if it goes higher, 25 to 30%, take another third, and then you can save the other one third or a half or a third to see if it continues moving up. So that is the story there. If anything goes up 20% in 2 to 3 weeks, you can hold that for another 8 weeks. That is 2 of our rules. If you want to learn more, we continue to educate people on what are the rules. And let's see what we got here. This is HPQ, which we looked at earlier. So that is a story there. So now we're just going to take a look at what we're doing. There's a new company that we found, Serve. NVIDIA is investing in this company. We put in a sale at the end of the day yesterday. It's kind of bouncing all around. It was up pretty high earlier. Looks like it's pretty wild now. Let me see if I can bring this up. Yeah, I guess it's still profitable from where we bought. I'm just trying to see where the trade price was. The trade price was $2.92. It was way up here when we looked at it in the morning, and being a volatile IPO, it's all over the place. Saw on Yahoo that they had, I believe, a $48 12-month target. So that's the only reason that we decided to take a shot here. Let's take a look at a couple of the other issues we're currently trading in. Lyft. It's up slightly. We have a short covered call at 20, or in June. We'll kind of see if it can get above its moving averages. It's below most of them right now, but it continues to deliver. You can see, look at this, 125% EPS increase, 250%, 124%, and 114%. Relative strength against the S&P 500 is about 90. The current 3-month outlook on that would be much weaker, but Denison Mines had a cup with a handle here. So this would be a base on base. This is the Darvis box that we were talking about. So you just kind of oscillate in there. We'll just use this on the line here. This is the oscillating in the box, breaks out of the box. It corrects less than it had done before. So it is oscillating in this box, and it breaks out again, and it is moving up. We put a short at 250 in July, so that doesn't look too favorable for our short. So we will continue to watch that. I believe they have had a 12-month target of 345 on this. We'd originally bought this at 85 cents a number of years ago. Uranium is moving up. Power plants have to buy uranium to create electricity. ELF went down about 5% yesterday. Now the internet is a little slow again. See if this will work now. Here we go. Here's ELF Beauty. It's down here, double bottom. Tried to break out, pulls back again, creates another double bottom. Earnings come out. Earnings are up 26%. Earnings surprise of 60%. Pulled back about 5% yesterday, and it is up today slightly. We didn't look at bond yields, so let's take a look at bond yields. Maybe why it is rising. Bond yields fall significantly, down 1.6%. The 20-year bond, that was a 10-year, and the 20-year is filling the gap there, down nearly 2%. So this is why I believe ELF is rising today. Small capitalization stocks get hit hard when we'll see if the VIX can fill this gap. All gaps eventually fill. And we have a gap up here around 1838 where we had a target price. We did not look at IWM yet. Small capitalization, yeah, we got a bounce. It's filling the gap, bouncing off of the 50-day moving average. Dow Jones, I think with Boeing should be up slightly, but it is not. Continues 1, 2, 3 gaps in a row. It's pretty amazing. Any bounce on that? You would think that might be a good short, but if that, you would need to investigate that yourself. The NASDAQ is down slightly today, down 0.5%. The equal weight on the NASDAQ is down less. That's good news. You want the market to kind of broaden out. The S&P 500 bouncing off of its 20-day moving average. Looks like it's building a cup with a handle here. Cup with a handle, kind of to shake out weak holders. We'll just see if it can stay above the 20. And look at the equal weight of the S&P 500. See, this is good news. Market is broadening out. See if it can fill that gap. Look at MicroStrategy. It's one of our core holdings. It was down to 1,600 after hours last night. At one point, it was up to 1,690. This looks like definitely a cup with a handle. We'll see how that kind of works its way out. Got out of Brothers yesterday, and then we put on an option at 36. So we'll just kind of continue to watch. And even though it is down, It's only down about 10 cents. So we'll continue to watch that. We did put on this one. It may have been early. Another volatile area. We bought 100 of these shares. It's down just slightly, less than 1%. Look at these earning expectations, 520% for this year and another 97%. They're an aerospace and defense group. Here is another one who in Brazil. They make aircrafts. I see I think Southwest or American Airlines had bought a few of these. So let's continue to see what we're trading. We have an option on app leving at 83. So we'll see if that can stay and help us get back into the stock. NetApp, still holding NetApp. Just have 50 shares. Have an option on 4, 62.50. It's kind of a funny pattern here. Looks like it's trying to build a handle here. Also in aerospace, we have AV, broke out it with a cup with a handle. We had an option here, and then we decided right about here to get into the stock. And let's see, that's up about 11% now. We looked at Serve, we looked at ELF, and this is our big winner. CAVA Mediterranean Grill. Talked a lot about how I think this is repeating the Chipotle trade. We had a successful IPO base trade that we went over about a year ago, and then we bought in at 31, and then we sold right over here, got in around 49 right about on this day, and converted those 1,500 shares, and then sold, I believe it was 500 shares right here, pulled back, doing nothing wrong, kind of bouncing off of the 50-day moving average. See, it's never violated that 50-day moving average, and pulled back to the 20-day, bounced off the 20-day, and it is just surging up about 8% today. So that is the story there. Weatherford, originally bought this at 65. This continues growing, and we've been selling options, covered call options on this one. Recently, we thought we were going to lose the stock at 125, but it pulled back a little bit, so we put on another covered call at 130. So that's kind of looks at what we're doing. Try to make a little more money on the stock while we're holding it. And we did buy some more Netflix in my another family account. So looks like it's breaking out here. Take a look at Meta. They had a big sell-off, and they've been trying to fight back after their earnings. We have a 475 covered call. It's pulled back from this, so we'll continue to watch that. The other family account, we have some Amazon. Amazon is pulling back a little bit. Royal Caribbean continues to perform well. Here is the Darvis box, breaks out of that box, pulls back to the 50-day moving average, holds the 50. So actually, if you bought this over here and it bounced off the 50, could have added to that holding and just riding the crest here. So that's our show for today. Mornings with Michael. This is what we do, show you what we do. If it fits in with what you do, you have to do your own due diligence, but we continue to make money on our investing, and we'll continue to analyze the market on the weekends, and hope everybody has a great Thursday. Thanks for tuning in, and go out there and keep working on your goals and your activities, and keep surprising everybody around you on the success that you're having. And we will catch you back here.